How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. Now, usually when I do a review, whether it's a mouse, headset, keyboard, whatever, you guys usually want me to compare it to some other product out there, and especially now with my headset reviews with the Corsair HS50 and then also the Cougar Phontum, you guys wanted me to compare them against each other, see how they perform, but also a lot of you mentioned to take a look at the Kingston HyperX Clouds. Now, in this video, I'm going to compare all three of these headsets against each other, see which of them perform best for the price, because the Clouds are more expensive. So we're going to see if it's actually worth paying that bit more for the Clouds, or you should rather just go for the HS50 or the Phantoms. So with all of that being said, let's jump into today's comparison video right after this. Do you live in South Africa and want to get the best deals on all the latest gaming products? Well, RebelTech is the best place to check out. They have a huge variety of peripherals, PC components, laptops, and just everything else you would need. So go check out rebeltech.co.za to get the products you are looking for at a low price. So starting off with the pricing for these three headsets, the Corsair HS50 is going for $50 on Amazon and around 800 Rand on RebelTech here in South Africa. The Phantoms is going also for $50, but 900 Rand here in South Africa. And then the Kingston HyperX Clouds, you get two different versions these days. You get the Core and then the V1. You also get the V2, but we're not going to take a look at that one. The only difference between the two is the accessories you get, and then also pretty much the cable. They use the exact same drivers, they're exact same build quality and all of that. So I do have the V1, but I'm also gonna just compare it against the Core because it's exactly the same thing. But as for the pricing for the Clouds, the Core is going for around $70 on Amazon. We don't get it here in South Africa, so I'm not exactly sure on pricing, but it should be around 1,000 Rand. For the V1, that is going $10 more at $80 on Amazon, and it's going for around 1,200 Rand on RebelTech here in South Africa. Now, as for what you get inside the box along with the headsets, first up, the HS50, all you get is a TRRS2 dual TRS adapter, so you can use it with your PC. For the Phantoms, you get an extra pair of thinner ear pads that you can just pop on if you don't want to use the thick ones or if you want to use it in public. You also get an extension cable, which is 1.8 meters long, and it splits up into a TRRS connections at the end. Now again, with the Kingston HyperX Clouds, you get the two different versions. With the version 1, you get a lot more accessories. So you get velour ear cups, you get a bag, you get a dual TRS to TRRS adapter, you get an adapter for airplanes if you want to use that, and then you also get an extension cable if you want to extend the cable a bit. As for the Cloud Core, all you pretty much get is a TRRS to TRS adapter, same as the HS50s. Now then, taking a look at the design and build quality of these headsets, and starting with the HS50, you get a really simple design with a metal frame that you can adjust for a bit of extra length. Now, you are able to bend it open a fair amount, not too much without feeling like it could potentially break. It could possibly go more, but I don't want to push it too much because usually headsets do snap here at the top, and I do feel like this one could potentially break up there if you push it too far. Now, additional breaking point is where the head strap and the ear cups meet. It does thin out there, the frame, and that is a potential breaking point if you are rough with your headset, so just keep that in mind. You are able to tilt the ear cups a bit and then swivel a tiny bit as well, but again, just be careful for that potential breaking point. For the headband's padding, it's not the softest out there, but it's going to be comfortable enough because of the headset being so light. Now getting into the padding for the ear cups, it's not as thick as we will see with the Cougar Phantoms, but it is still comfortable enough, soft enough to wear on your head for long periods at a time. The only thing that I didn't like was that you don't get any padding on the inside. So for me personally, something that I experience with most headsets out there is that my ears do scratch against it, and it kind of just irritates me a bit. Now, it's not too bad with the headset, but it does kind of get in the way sometimes if I want to wear it for long periods at a time. Now, moving on, the HS50 is also the only headset that does have volume controls on the headset itself. So you're all able to adjust the volume and then also mute the microphone, as easy as that, which I do really like if you can just control that on the headset itself. Now, as for sound quality, the HS50s do have more of a relatively balanced frequency range. The bass is a bit pushed down. It's not too low, but it's not as heavy as most other gaming headsets out there. The highs is good, the mids is good. You're gonna hear all of the gunfire in games, and then it still gets enough low end to really feel the bass and all of that, but it's not, again, as much as most other gaming headsets. Now, the HS50s do also not make a complete seal around your ear, so you will get some background noise if the volume is not really high, and then also people will be able to hear what you're listening to if the volume is high. Now, getting into our next headset, the Cougar Funtom. These ones are really simple, but they are a beast at what you actually get. Now, the head strap is just literally a metal piece that goes through, nothing really fancy or anything. You get a tiny bit of padding at the top, but because of this metal headband, you can really open it up quite a bit, and it doesn't really feel like it's going to break at all. It feels really sturdy, and out of the three, I would say that these ones do have the best build quality. It's simple, but it does get the job done. Now, the ear cups are able to adjust up and down a bit. It's not the fanciest out there, but it also gets the job done. Ear cups are also able to tilt a bit and swivel a bit. Now, that is a potential breaking point that I could see happening, the point up here. So don't be too rough there. It's not easy going to break, but out of all of the breaking points for the headset, I would say that that is the only point that it could potentially break. Now, this headset is the heaviest out of the three because probably just the massive ear cups. As for those ear cups, they do feel nice and sturdy, also plastic of course, but they do feel high in quality. For the ear cups, again, you get two different pairs of ear cups, the thick ones and then also the thinner on the go ones. For the thick ones, I personally do like these. They are extremely comfortable for long periods at a time. You don't have to worry about your scratching against the drivers on the inside because there's so much padding. So that was really comfortable for me. With the thinner ones, I wasn't too happy about these because my ears would scratch against the inside of the drivers, but it was still relatively comfortable. If it's not a problem for you that your ears scratch against the drivers, then it's not going to be an issue for you, but it's just something that I do experience. But luckily with the thick ones, it's honestly not going to be an issue at all. Now, they don't make an entirely complete seal around your ear, so you do still get some background noise, and people can hear what you are listening to if you crank up the volume quite a bit, and if somebody is close to you, then they will hear what you're listening to. But what really makes this headset stand out for me above all of the others is the stereo image. Because of the large ear cups, you get so much more stereo image. Everything just feels so much, almost 7.1 honestly, not that far, but you do get a wide image that in games really do improve your experience. It really makes you just feel more immersed in the game. The other ones do have it as well, but it's not as pronounced as these ones. Now continuing with the audio quality, these ones do focus more on the mid and the lower end compared to the high end. The high end does sound a bit more pushed back, so gunfires and so on, it's not as pronounced as the mid and the lows. So if you are looking for more of a bass heavy headset, then these ones do focus more on that, so it's going to work better for you. Whereas again, the HS50 is more well balanced, where you still get the highs and some mids and lows there as well, but these ones are more for lower end. Now getting into the third headset, the Kingston HyperX Clouds, or the Cloud Cores. Now I have been using these for the last more than 5 years now even, and I honestly do love them. They really give you everything that you need, but again, you do pay more compared to these other two headsets. So now, as for the build quality, you get an aluminium frame that is able to bend open quite a bit, but if you do push them too far, I do believe that they will snap here at the top as well, but I haven't really heard of that happening to a lot of people. If you take care of your headset, it's not going to be a problem. Same goes for these two as well. As for the ear cups, they are able to tilt inwards and outwards a bit, swivel a tiny bit as well, but you would most likely just bend the headset. It is really bendy. Also for the padding, it has the most padding over the other two heads, or over the three headsets. It's still relatively light, but the padding is nice and soft. Now, along with that, the ear cups are also nice and soft. It's not as thick as the Cougar Phantoms, but it's really soft to the touch, which I do like. But the thing that I like most about these headsets is that they do have padding against the drivers, and honestly, that really makes it one of the most comfortable headsets out there for me personally. Just having that padding, your ears don't scratch against the drivers, and that makes it comfortable for me that I can wear it for longer hours at a time. So these ones I have actually used on a road trip where I was in the car for around 12 hours, and I used this primarily for all of my listening to music and movies and all of that, and it didn't have any problems. But as for sound quality for the Kingston HyperX Clouds, they do have a more balanced frequency range. Highs are good, bass is also good. It's not as heavy as the Cougar Phantoms, but it is better than the HS50s. The mids does sound a bit more pushed back, but it's nothing too heavy, so sound quality is good. But you will also have to keep in mind that they do cost more than these two. So if you do go look for something that costs around this one's price range or just above it, the sound quality for most of those do sound a bit better than the Kingston HyperX Clouds. But comfort-wise, they do stand out above those other ones. Now, compared to the other ones, this one does have the best noise isolation and then also less of sound bleed. It's not as good as a lot of other headsets, but it is better than these two. It also, because of it just closing better around your ear, you do feel more immersed in your games, so it really helps out there. The stereo image is not as great as the Phantoms, but it is still good enough. Now getting into the microphone comparison, all three of them do have detachable bendable microphones, which is awesome. I do really like that. You can actually wear them in public without looking like a total weirdo with this giant thing next to your head, which a lot of gaming headsets these days do have. Also, all of them do feature noise cancellation, but it's not going to be the greatest. Testing them on MX Blues, it's something really to brag about. And then also, all of them do feature a unidirectional pickup pattern. Now listening to the Corsair HS50 first, noise cancellation, as you guys can hear, it's not the greatest, but this headset is the loudest out of the three. It does pick up a more background noise, so I'm not sure if it's really better per se, but I do think that it sounds almost the clearest out of the three. You do get your pop noises every now and then because it doesn't have a windshield on, but it's not also as nasally as a lot of other gaming headsets, so it does sound good enough for just gaming for me. Now listening to the Cougar Phantoms, first up, noise cancellation.
they don't really do a great job at noise cancellation. Same with the other ones as well. They're also not as loud as these two, so you don't really get as much background noise. But if you do boost it a bit more, then it will add more noise, unfortunately. Also, they do sound more bass heavy than these other two. They don't really sound the most natural. So they're not the greatest mic wise. I do believe that the HS50 does sound more clearer. And then lastly, we have the Kingston HyperX Clouds. First up, noise cancellation test. I do believe that this one does a better job compared to the other two, but still not the greatest. Wouldn't say really noise cancellation, but you also don't really get as much background noise compared to, let's say, the HS50s. Now, this one is also the only one out of the three that does have a wind shield, so you don't really get that much popping going around, even it's not as heavy as these two, and you also get a relatively clear sound. Now, they're not the greatest microphone, even compared to the HS50. I do believe if it wasn't for the background noise, and then also if it did have a windshield on, then this one would have sounded the best compared to all three of them. But none of them sound really bad. So if your primary focus is just game streaming or gaming with your friends, then they're going to be completely fine. For anything higher quality, of course, you will need to get a dedicated microphone.
Now then, finally, which headset do I think is the best? And honestly, I have to go for the all-rounder, and that is the Kingston HyperX Cloud. Now, it is the more expensive one out of the three, and there are other headsets that you can take a look at if you wanted to go for something in this one's price range. But if comfort is your primary focus, then there's nothing that's going to beat the HyperX Clouds. Even the more expensive ones that I've tasted before, it doesn't come close to what this one delivers, especially with that padding in the middle. For me, that is a godsend. I really do love it. And then audio wise, it's not the greatest. There's a lot of other headsets around the price range that does sound a better. Mic also, it's okay. But just the comfort is the thing that stands out the most for this headset. Now, for gaming wise, I do think that the Phantoms do sound the best. They are still extremely comfortable. Build quality is also good. It's not the most beautiful thing to look at, it's just really simple. But with that stereo image spread, it really sounds awesome when gaming. It's also still okay for music and all of that, but in games they sound the best, I would say, out of the three. Also, with the thick padding, it's really comfortable. Thin pads I'm not too crazy about, but these thick ones do really sound good. Mic is a tiny bit lacking compared to the other two, but it's still good enough. Now then, as for the HS50s, these ones don't really do anything the best, but it is one of the more well-balanced, all-rounders out of the gaming headsets. If your primary focus is just gaming, you're going to use it for just gaming, then the Phantoms do sound better with that image spread. But if you don't like the look of it, then these ones are going to be a better option. They're comfort-wise, they're good. Sound quality, they're good enough. Build quality, they're also good enough. Mic, it's good. And then also you do have the volume controls, which is nice. So if you're looking for more of an all-arounder, then this one is going to be a better option. It's kind of like just a more affordable version of the Clouds, if I'm honest. So if you're on a tight budget and you can't afford the Clouds, then the Corsair HS50s is a better option. So it just depends on what you want to go for. More for all-around use, or for just gaming. Even if you do have the thinner pads, I would say they're just primary focus more for gaming. And then the best ones overall, just comfort-wise, they are the best ones for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my comparison of these three headsets. Do let me know what you guys thought of this comparison. It might be a bit long because I want to give all of the information possible, so you guys know what really you are getting into when buying these headsets. But let me know down in the comments below what you thought. Should I make it shorter? Should I not really do 3 headsets or whatever. Let me know down in the comments below. But thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this comparison video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And then I will check all of you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys.